Give or take.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is our first Tuesday texting Torah challenge of the semester.
Oh, it's more than.
And the question was the following: you order a book from whatever Amazon, they tell you it'll take 3 weeks. 4 weeks go by, you contact them. They're like, "Oh, we don't know where it is. We're so sorry. It must got lost in the mail. We'll send you a new one." They send you a new one. A book arrives a few days later, and 2 days after that, a second book arrives. It happens all the time. What do you do with that second book? The question is, why did the company send you that second book? So one could actually argue that they sent that second book because they assumed that the first book got lost and disappeared, and they owe you that book. You paid for it online. If that is the case, and you have that second book, then you have an obligation to return it to the owner, because it's called the mitzvah of Shabbos Aveda. You have to return lost objects. I'm pretty sure that is pretty standard with most companies, is that they don't really want to send you a second one, but they told you 3 weeks, it's been 4, it's been 5 weeks, it hasn't arrived. Maybe it was the busy holiday season, maybe the mail got a little crazy, so they decided good customer policy, keep the customer happy, and send you out a second one. If you contact them and you ask them, listen, Mr. Amazon.com or Amazon.ca, why would you want to pay for American shipping? Want to return it to you? They might say to you, return it to us? We don't want it back. Or they might say, oh, sure. Put it in go purchase a shipping envelope and send it to us. Would you be obligated to then pay for the shipping? Interesting question. Probably the halacha is, since it's a non-Jewish company, we know that the mitzvah is Shabbos Aveda is Minat Torah for a Jew, but the Shulchan Aruch paskins that even for a non-Jew we do Shabbos Aveda. It's the proper thing. It's the proper thing to do. So how far, however, do I have to extend for my returning a book? Let's say the book is $10 and shipping is going to cost me $12. Am I obligated to pay more money than the price of the book? And the truth is, you know whose responsibility it is? It might be the responsibility of the owner of the book for Shabbos Aveda. So you lose your cow, you are obligated to pay the person back for the food that they're spending to make sure your cow lives until they return it to you. So the responsibility is on the owner of the item. So it could be it's Amazon's responsibility to get that book back from you. You're not obligated to return it, especially if it's greater than the actual amount of the book itself. And if they're not going to compensate you, then maybe you would not be obligated to return it back at all. If they'd say to you, if it's just a small amount of postage, let's say it's $1, or 50 cents, or $2, then it's a nice thing to do to spend a little amount of money to perform a mitzvah. It's the proper thing to do. More than that might be considered too much. And if they say to keep the book, are you allowed to keep the book? Sure, if they're allowed to, they can have mechila. If that's their customer policies, that for the book, it's not worth it for them. It's a big headache in a billion-dollar company. Just let them keep that book. What about if you send an email, they don't respond to your email? If you email the company, I got a second book. And they have more important emails to deal with, right? They want to respond to people who are actually going to be buying books, not a headache of how to return a book. Then what do? How many times are you obligated to inquire? Probably a couple of times. And after a couple of times, you're not obligated to email them every single week. If you ask them a couple of times, you could assume they just don't care and they're mitzyayish from the item, and then you'd be allowed to keep it. Maybe it's meritorious to take the book, sell it for tzedakah, and then donate it to OU-JLIC. Maybe leave the book in the base medrash here. You know what I mean? Maybe that would be. Are you obligated? You have a chiyuv to that? Probably not. But first of all, do you really want a second book? You want to give it to a friend? Give it to your mother. A nice, present, maybe, perhaps. But would you to use that money for tzedakah? That's probably considered something of very much altruistic behavior. You're not obligated, but probably would also be a nice thing to do. I think those are all the issues, or most issues, in resolving the Tuesday Texting Torah Challenge. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.